All right. So let's start with our last topic, which is in relation to review and reporting. So basically, if I give you a little bit of brief about this one, is so now auditor has done all of the testing, having procedures, and now the auditor is in the final stage to complete the audit. All right. And one, as an auditor, when we have gathered all the evidences, we've done all the procedures, now we this basically is type of a conclusion that the auditor is getting if the financial statements are true or fair or no, or is there any problems in the financial statements, is there anything to discuss with the management, etc. Okay, so this is the last stage, I would say, essentially, which the auditor does in order to conclude their findings. All right, so this is what we're going to do in completion and review. Let us first start. All right. So these are some of the things that we're going to study in this chapter. Let's first start. Okay. So when we are talking in terms of the final review, these are some of the aspects which the auditor will be doing when the auditor is having a final review of the financial statements. All right. The first one being, it says, do the financial statements comply with statute and accounting standards? So a yes or a no, basically, that if the financial statements are as per the IFRSs, as per the required regulatory requirements or no. So that is what the auditor will be looking at once he or she is done with the full procedures. By that, they will, of course, be knowing that whether it is okay or no, as per the accounting standards or no. Second thing is, are the financial statements consistent with the knowledge of the business? So again, यहाँ पे the auditor is doing a self reflection in these two. This is part of self reflection because again, when we are auditing, there can be certain issues from auditor's perspective also, part of which it is detection risk as well, right? So that is what they do, a self reflection, that whatever financial statements or whatever conclusion that we have derived, do we have enough knowledge of the business, do we have enough knowledge of the company, the industry, right? And if the quality of the audit work is up to the standard or no, or was there some quality issue from auditor's perspective? That is again because these two are responsibilities of the auditor, right? Auditor also has some responsibilities apart from management having the responsibilities. So these are part of the auditor's responsibility. All right. So whenever we have a report, we'll do it little later. Abhi, we'll do it today. Wherein I'm telling you about the auditor's report. So one aspect of that report is auditor's responsibilities also, and those responsibilities, these are part of those responsibilities. All right. Have the firm's procedures been followed? So whatever procedures that they wanted to do throughout the audit, they do it or no? Do the financial statements give a true and fair view? Just what we talked about right now. This is basically a conclusion which the auditor gives, that whether the financial statements were okay, was it there any issue, कोई major issue था, कोई minor issue था, what was the issue if there was any. So again, that is a part of your conclusion. Have appropriate accounting policies been followed? So this is just a bifurcation of this one. So policies, accounting standards, rules and regulations, etc., have been followed while the management has made the financial statement. So this is what these are all parts of your final review. Then again, they have written little in brief. If we quickly read this down, so basically, in the final review, the auditor, when the auditor is doing its final review, it asks the following to the management: has the work been performed in accordance to the standards, which we just did? What significant matters has been raised for further consideration? Now, for example, when you did your substantive procedures or analytical procedures, you came down to a conclusion that there is some gap between the information, or probably you had some questions. So when you're having some questions before you do your final conclusion, those you are going to ask from the management. You're going to ask them that, hey, listen, I did this substantive procedures, I did my procedures, oral procedures, etc. And I was able to get these are my questions. Can you please answer them for me? If the management is answering them and you are able to get your answers correctly, then you are good. You don't have any problem. But when the management is not providing you any conclusions, any information, any details, is not willing to discuss also with you, then that's a red flag. So probably in that case, you will tend to have a negative report. That means probably you're going to have a qualified opinion in that case. We'll discuss what qualified opinion is. I hope you people already know it, but just for your information. So this is part of the qualified and unqualified opinions. Then have appropriate consultations taken place and the resulting conclusions being documented and implemented. So as you people know, whenever we do audit, everything is documented, whether it is starting of the audit, whether we are in middle of the audit, whatever procedures, whatever findings, whatever we get, we have something in real life corporate scenario, what we call as working papers. All right. In the working papers, we're going to record everything, all the procedures, all the information, all the communication that has happened with management. Yahan pe in the working paper, it is documented, well documented. All right. So that is this. Is there a need to revise the nature, timing, extent of the work performed? So again, during the audit, did you came across any situation जिसकी वजह से you need to extend probably the audit because there's a lot of information or there's a lot of problems in the company, for example, or extent of the work performed. So sampling. So for example, previously when you did your audit sampling, that time you took 10 samples, but during the course of the audit, you got to know that 10 samples are not enough. We need to extend the work performed. So probably you're going to extend into 40 samples, 50 samples, etc. So that is again, is there any need to do that? And why is there a need also? That is also a part over here. कि क्यों चाहिए हमें extension? Does the work performed support the conclusions reached? Again, if my procedures, again, your procedures has to be in line with your conclusions, right? If you're saying everything is good, good, good in your procedures, everything is okay, 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 your conclusion should also be okay. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आपके procedures are all fine, you don't have any problems, and towards the end you say, no, no, this is the problem, and we are having a qualified report, right? तो आपको जो भी whatever procedures that you're going to do throughout the audit, they have to correspond to your conclusions as well, right? Is the work appropriately documented? Again, part of your working papers, it has to be documented. It is a necessary. Is the evidence obtained sufficient and appropriate to support the auditor's report? We already discussed in the previous class what do we understand by sufficient and appropriate both. Have the objectives of the engagement procedure have been achieved? Again, when you are doing an audit, you have certain objectives in mind, right? So are those all objectives achieved or is there something pending? And if yes, it is pending, why is it pending? So that is what we consider in the final review, right? Then this is ISA 450. Now I'll just quickly tell you people that in audit, when we're doing AA, even AAA, I think I'm not really sure if I mentioned this before or no, but your ISAs, which is ISAs, these are not important from exam perspective. So even if you do not learn them, even if you do not know them, even if you do not probably understand them, that's absolutely fine. Don't take unnecessary pressure for these ones, especially only the IFRSs and the IAs, the standards basically, they are important. ISAs, even if you skip them, that's not a problem in the paper. All right. So this is from your AAA perspective also. So yeah, that's that. Now, if we quickly again discuss about ISA 450, which is evaluation of the misstatement. So, for example, when you were evaluating the financial statements, you got some misstatements that were appearing in the financial statements from management's perspective. All right. So all the identified errors should be recorded on a working paper, as I mentioned here as well, that everything that you do while you are doing audit, while you're performing procedures, everything will be documented and will be written down in working papers set up for the purpose. So if there are any errors also, you'll document in the working papers only. Individually, immaterial errors may be in aggregate or amount to a material difference. Can anybody explain me this? What do we understand by this point?
The concept of performance materiality.
Hmm. What? Can you repeat it?
Performance materiality.
No, 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 no. Performance materiality is different.
Ma'am, if individually they are not like they are immaterial, but when combined, those small amounts they lead to
Hmm.
a material difference.
Yes, correct, correct. So sometimes because we as an auditor, we always work on the materiality levels. Something which is not material, we are not bothered about that. Even if it is a misstatement, if it is not material, we're not bothered with that. But sometimes, if small, supposingly there were four transactions that was immaterial individually, matlab supposingly it was for 10, 20, 30, 40 rupees, for example. Individually, they are not material, right? But when I add them up and they form a total of, for example, 10,000 rupees. For example, probably this 10,000 rupees is material for the company. So individually, they are not material, but when we aggregate them, when we total them up, they are material for the financial statement. So as an auditor, we also need to see this that, for example, there were trade receivable problems, all right? And there were three customers जिनमें problem थी. So 10 and 10 का इनसे हमको लेना था amount, all right? Individually, आप देखोगे it is a very small amount, but when we combine, it is for 30, and supposedly the organization's revenue is 100. So of course, 30 can be material to the organization's revenue. Why? Because it is 30% of what they're not going to receive, right? So that if it is material, when we total it up or when in aggregate, it is important for our evaluation as well. All right. And that will be included in the working papers for the review. Management should be requested to adjust all the identified misstatements. So this is essentially what the auditor expects from the management, that हम जो उनको गलतियां बताएंगे. This is supposedly I also tell you the mistakes in the paper. So essentially I also expect you to rectify them. And if you're not rectifying it, so सबसे पहले auditor gives a warning. So he does their own evaluations, review, and supposedly they are able to get five things which the management should amend in the financial statement. मतलब गलतियां मिली, and they said to the management that please rectify these errors or it will be a problem. If the management, so that is a warning that the auditor gives. If the management is willing and happily they amend those things in the financial statements, you are good to go. You don't have any problem as an auditor. ठीक है, आप you are good to go with that. But when if the management is very strict कि नहीं हम नहीं change करने वाले हैं, we're not going to change all of these things, we are least bothered all of these things, then you're going to go to your final resort, which is having a qualified opinion, for example, depending upon the nature also. All right. So the first thing that you do is you request the management that please adjust these following things that has come to our attention. If they do not do that, then you go to the extreme scenario wherein you're going to have a qualified opinion, for example. All right. If you read this also, all uncorrected misstatements should be communicated to TCWG. And how do you communicate is via your report and a description of the implications for the audit report if appropriate. So again, you're going to communicate and you're also going to write down them in your audit report, and your audit report will be modified accordingly. All right. If any material misstatements remain unadjusted, the auditor will modify the audit. So this is what I just told you. So first of all, I give a warning to the management. If they're not willing to do so, then I will have a modified opinion. All right. So this is regards to your final review and material misstatements. Are we okay with this one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can someone explain me the IS 10 standard? Events after reporting period. Guys, IS 10. Nobody knows IS 10.
Now, after the reporting and before the end of the audit, like final report, so
Hmm.
between those two dates, it
Hmm.
is yeah. So I that much.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You're partially correct. Anybody else? Guys, this is a very basic standard IS 10.
मैम रिपोर्टिंग पीरियड के बाद दो टाइप के इवेंट्स होते हैं, एक एडजस्टिंग और
Hmm.
नॉन एडजस्टिंग. एज पर
करेक्ट।
IS 10 उनको रिकॉर्ड किया जाता है। जैसे
दोनों को
कि
या फिर किसी एक को?
नहीं, ओनली एडजस्टिंग इवेंट। जैसे कि अगर रिपोर्टिंग पीरियड के बाद डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर होता है
हम्म।
तो वो लाइबिलिटी नहीं बनेगा, बैलेंस शीट में सिर्फ डिस्क्लोजर दिया जाएगा।
एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, बिल्कुल सही। So basically, your IS 10 is events after the reporting period. ये कुछ ऐसे events जो रिपोर्टिंग पीरियड के बाद हुए हैं बट प्रोबेबली ऑडिटर की रिपोर्ट फाइल करने से पहले हुए हैं. So those are accounted under IAS 10. Now, as Rahul mentioned, there are two types of events that can happen. एक होते हैं adjusting events. One is non-adjusting events. If I quickly also show you. So one is your adjusting events and one is your non-adjusting. Adjusting का मतलब है कि ऐसे events जो हमको अपनी financial statements में adjust करने पड़ेंगे. For example, अगर बेसिकली इसका बेस क्या होता है कि सपोजिंगली before the year end, there was a customer, all right, just who owed you 10,000 rupees, all right, before the year end. You know about this customer who owed you 10,000 rupees, but that customer went into liquidity, due to which you know that this would probably be a bad debt. You're not 100% confirmed, but you have an idea with you that yes, probably this can be a bad debt for us. All right. And after, so right now you have only recognized this as a receivable. अभी आपने bad debt इसको consider नहीं किया है. All right. But after the year end, जब हमारी financial statements close हो चुकी हैं, after that the customer says, yes, I am now 100% sure that I have filed the bankruptcy and अब मैं आपको 10,000 नहीं pay कर पाऊंगा, for example. तो अब तो ये short हो गया that this should not be recognized as a receivable. This should be recognized as a bad debt. All right. So the auditor will say to the management that, hey, listen, your receivables are being overstated by 10,000 because your customer is not paying you the amount. Please write it off as your bad debt. Now, if the management says, okay, we are good, we can do that. So in that case, they have to adjust in their financial statements. So adjusting events का क्या मतलब होता है? That you had some idea or you have had the evidence of that event कि वो year end से पहले exist करता था in your financial statement. So यहाँ पे we had an idea about the situation before the year end also, right? But your non-adjusting events का मतलब होता है we do not had any idea about this thing being done before the year end. Supposingly आपके warehouse में fire लग गई. So when there was some fire after the year end, उसका कोई evidence पहले थोड़ा ना होगा financial statements report करने से पहले. Of course, nobody knows when the fire will happen, right? It's a natural disaster या फिर समझ लो it becomes type of a loss to the company, which happens after the year end. So now the company is not liable, not required also to amend the financial statements. Technically यहाँ पे क्या होना चाहिए? हमारी इन्वेंट्री जो है वो राइट ऑफ करनी पड़ेगी हमको, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स लॉस ऑफ इन्वेंट्री होगा, राइट? बट बिकॉज this happened after the year end, so the management is not responsible to write down the inventory of the previous year. Next year तो करेंगे ही करेंगे, of course, right? But previous year की inventory they'll not write it off because the evidence did not exist before the year end. Fire तो अब कभी भी लग सकती है, बाद में लग गई, तो adjustment नहीं चाहिए होगी, but we would require a disclosure from management's perspective. So you have notes to accounts. So you'll have a disclosure there that during after the year end, supposedly year ended on 31st of March. So fire happened on 5th of April. So the management will write on 5th of April, we had a fire at the warehouse due to which 10,000 rupees of goods got lost or got damaged. So that is just a disclosure, and that is a necessary. You cannot omit that disclosure. All right. So if the management is not providing you with the disclosure, you as an auditor have the full right to tell them that yes, we need a disclosure for the same. So that is the difference between adjusting and non-adjusting. जब भी क्वेश्चन में कुछ भी इससे रिलेटेड आता है, जस्ट थिंक कि क्या इसका एविडेंस हमारे ईयर एंड से पहले हमारे पास था या फिर दिस वाज आउट ऑफ आवर कंट्रोल बिफोर द ईयर एंड. दैट्स ऑल. ऑलराइट. Are we okay with IS 10 subsequent events?
Yes, ma'am.
बिकॉज दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम योर रिपोर्टिंग पर्सपेक्टिव। जो आपका लास्ट क्वेश्चन आएगा, अगर आपको ये नहीं पता है, इसकी कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी नहीं है, यू विल डू सम और द एरर्स, other errors in the last question. Yes, Ipsa?
Ma'am, year end or reporting date? Like what we have to see.
For what? Here,
For
यहाँ पे तो
adjusting
आप
and
year end देखोगे, year end देखोगे, and auditor will see the reporting date when he or she is reporting. तो यहाँ पे simple, अगर मैं simple बोलूँ, adjusting events के लिए financial statements की year end देखोगे.
okay.
Okay, so the difference, so basically the dates, supposingly आपका year end हुआ financial statements का 31st of March, ठीक है, and your the financial statements, जब क्योंकि हमारे financial statements are also being authorized, right? So जो financial statements के data, for example, the date was 10th April, and इसके बाद auditor will report the make a report for the final report basically, right? तो जो इसके बीच का पीरियड है, आप वो कंसिडर करोगे फॉर योर इवेंट्स आफ्टर द रिपोर्टिंग पीरियड, कि अगर सपोजिंगली इसके बीच में 10th अप्रैल से पहले कुछ होता है, दैट इज कंसिडर्ड ईदर एडजस्टिंग या नॉन एडजस्टिंग इवेंट.
Okay.
Alright, let's move ahead. Alright. So again, एक और चीज which they are mentioning over here is, if you quickly read, it says up to the date of auditor's report, जो मैंने यहाँ पे बात करी कि रिपोर्टिंग की डेट भी आती है. So basically ऑडिटर की एक लाइबिलिटी होती है, I would say, not two. सपोजिंगली अब आप बोलोगे कि हो सकता है जब हमने ऑडिटर ने रिपोर्ट फाइल करी ऑन फॉर एग्जाम्पल 10th of May, क्या पता इस पीरियड के बीच में भी कुछ चीजें चेंज हो जाएं फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में, समथिंग चेंजेस, सम एडजस्टिंग इवेंट हैपेंस. तो इज ऑडिटर लायबल टू अमेंड दोज आल्सो, हैव अ एक्टिव लुक एट दैट आल्सो, या फिर नहीं? सिंपल आंसर ये है कि till the time audit report is being made and is being finalized, auditor is responsible to see all of the things actively, कि कंपनी में क्या हो रहा है, any changes, कुछ नया हुआ कंपनी में, anything, all of the things, auditor is responsible to do that. But once the report has been finalized, supposingly it is now 15th of May, अब कंपनी में कुछ ना कुछ तो चलता ही रहेगा, so auditor is not responsible for that. जो रिपोर्टिंग के बाद कुछ भी हो रहा है कंपनी में, it's not responsible for that. Of course, passively, the auditor can follow to that, but actively, no. All right. So this is what the statement also says over here. Up to the date of
Okay.
auditor's report. I'm sorry.
It includes even the day of reporting, like,
Your voice is breaking for me.
hello.
Yeah.
So it includes the reporting day also, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Up to the date, that means the reporting date. So when, for example, on 10th of May, they finalize, or it includes 10th of May, not 11th of May. The auditor must watch out for subsequent events that might require adjustment or disclosure. So this is what I say. After the date the auditor's report, the auditor has no duty to actively search for the subsequent events, but can do passively. यहाँ पे passively वो कर सकता है कि एक overlook लेने के लिए, but he is or she is not responsible for the subsequent events. Okay. So that's that. That is included over here. All right. Now let's also talk about going concern. It is a very, very important aspect from your, again, question 3 perspective, from your substantive procedures, as well as from your reporting perspective. Going concern basically means, I am assuming you people would already know this because it's a very basic concept of our accounting. Right? Going concern basically means that our company, अगर मैंने आज कोई company form करी है, I will have a vision that that company will run for an unforeseeable future, कि मतलब it will last for 10 years, 20 years, etc. मैं ये सोच के company को start नहीं करूंगी that it will shut down in 1 year, right? So that is the basic concept of going concern. A company is assumed to be a going concern if it is likely to continue trading for the foreseeable future, which I know कि अगर मैं बोलती हूँ कि my company has these many of assets or receivables, etc., and has a runway of foreseeable future, I can see my future, then that is a going concern. But अगर मुझे लगता है कि I have so many debts, I have so many problems, liabilities, etc., and probably I have to shut down the company, that means there is some problems in the going concern aspects. All right. So when preparing the financial statements, the director should assess whether there are significant doubts about an entity's ability to continue as a going concern. So of course, अगर कुछ एक चीज गलत हो रही है, for example, revenue is a problem, or provision is a problem, or small errors are there, provision, warranties, these are a problem. So these are not very, very big problem, जिसकी वजह से, the company would have to shut down. But for example, there are a lot of things going wrong with the company. The company is in a huge debt, which they have to pay, but they do not have the money. The cash in bank is not there. Cash in hand is not there. Or probably they're not even getting revenues. The sales have dropped. So these are certain indicators कि सब कुछ ही गलत हो रहा है. So probably it will be difficult for me to continue as a going concern, right? So as an auditor, my responsibility is to consider the appropriateness of management's use of going concern assumption. Sometimes, because again, I would say management is delusional. They say that even after everything going wrong into the company, they say no, 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 our company will go around for 3-4 years. अभी हम bankruptcy नहीं file कर रहे हैं. We still have hope because of course, as a owner of a business, who would want this to have that vision कि हमारा business बंद हो रहा है? Delusional management can get. So it is the responsibility of the auditor to tell them, ki, hey, listen, please get out of your strawberry world. Your company is sinking down and it is a problem of a going concern. Probably you have to, file a bankruptcy. So that is the auditor's responsibility in regards to the going concern. So even if the management is saying that, yes, yes, we are a going concern, we don't have any problems, auditor has to be very skeptic regarding the same. All right. Are we clear with going concern as well?
Yes.
All right. So they have also given us some of the indicators: net current liabilities, which we discussed, borrowings, just I discussed as loans, liquidity problems, cash flow problems, operational losses. They have a lot of debts to pay. Management of staff is a problem. Suppliers is a problem. So these are all the indicators of going concern. Small issues like provisions, warranties, all of these are not really big issues, but if combined with other things, they can pose a problem for the going concern as well. All right. Okay. The next thing that is the next topic actually that we have is written representation. You people know what written representation is? I assume you people would write in your substantive procedures. Guys, what are written representations? Nobody knows it? Okay, no problem. So basically, written representations is kind of an evidence, okay, which auditor gets from the management. Supposingly management was delusional and management said that yes, we are a going concern. अब अगर मैं इसको verbally management से ले लूं, it is a very big claim. All right, it is a very big claim, right? So what auditor will do as an evidence कि management को लगता है कि yes, it is a going concern, it will have a written representation. Written representation basically means writing में लेना, taking in writing from the management that yes, we are a going concern, and also writing down their assumption that on what basis do they consider this as a going concern. All right. So that is a form. Written representations are form of your audit evidence. All right. These you can also use when you're writing your substantive procedures that obtain a written representation from the management to ensure that they are a going concern or no, for example. All right. And it can be used for other things as well that obtain a written representation from the management that they are having a disclosures for the provisions, for example, etc. So whatever. So that is what your written representations are. These are a very good, I would say, evidence when auditor is obtaining. If you read the definition, are representations made by management to the auditor during the course of the audit either unsolicited or response to a specific query. So या तो in general कोई written representation दे देंगे वो कि yes, we are following the IFRSs, we are following the standards, we are following the rules and regulations, etc. या फिर they will be giving us a specific written representation also for a specific item. For example, the auditor says कि write down that you are a going concern. So that's a specific written representation, right? So if you read this, either it can be on a specific matters or it can be general matters also for the written representation. All right. But it is a very, very important audit evidence that the auditor can gather from the management only. All right. Are we okay with written representations also? Guys, quickly, are we okay with this? Any problems, any doubts till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Ipsa, Rahul, Kushali.
No, ma'am.
All right. Chalo. So this was regarding your completion and how does the auditor complete the reporting. Now, next topic that we're going to start is reporting, the final topic, which is in regards to how the auditor makes the report, what all does the report contain, and how does the auditor achieve a particular opinion, right? If you're talking about कि कुछ गलत है तो modified opinion होगा, qualified होगा. I know थोड़ी सी confusion होती है इसमें. That is the reason I wanted to talk about in detail. So auditor's report is just like अगर मैं if I compare this with your school report card, right? So auditor report में भी whatever evidences, whatever problems, whatever good things that the auditor was able to find in the financial statements and from the management's information being provided, that is all what the auditor's report contains. Just like your school report card. So good things about you, little bad things about you, your score, your marks, etc. So that is again part of kind of an auditor report which auditor does for the company, for the client. This is a very, very important aspect. You people should know this really very well. So the auditor's report is the output of the audit. So whatever procedures that the auditor has done, all of those are reported in the report, the audit report, and it contains the opinion also. So auditor ka opinion, whether the financial statements are okay or they are not okay. All right. So that is what the opinion is for the report. Now they have also given us a list of auditors' report. Mind you, for your AA paper, as well as if I just quickly talk about AAA as well, you are never asked to make a audit report. All right. They can either ask you, supposingly, they can give you a draft of audit report and they can ask you कि critically appraise करो, बताओ इसमें क्या problem है. They can do that. So for that, you should know this thing really well. If you do not know this thing really very well, you won't be able to answer that question. So they will give you, just say I have an example. So this is an example of audit report. ठीक है? So probably they give you a draft from this. ये तो बहुत बड़ी है, but they give you a draft from this and they ask you कि what is the problem over here. All right. So problem जब तक आपको नहीं पता होगी, supposingly they have not written the title. So this is the title, Independent Auditor's Report. This is the title, right? So if you do not know the elements of the audit report, you're not going to not going to write this as a problem in the auditor's report, right? So they're not going to ever ask you to make a audit report fully from scratch, but they can ask you firstly opinion to पूछते हैं, what would be the auditor's opinion. They can ask you if there is any amendment required, or they can ask you to also critically appraise the auditor's report that they have provided you. All right. So these are the elements in sequential order. So there should be a title, there should be addressee whom you are addressing to. Usually it is to TCWG or it can be to your shareholders, of course, who are the real owners of the business. Then your opinion, auditor opinion, whatever it is, modified, unmodified, qualified, except for or pervasive, disclosures, whatever. So opinions. Then, of course, basis for the opinion. So if you're saying you are having an unmodified opinion, so what is the basis for that? So you'll just describe justification for the same. That's that. Key audit matters. So do you people remember what is CAM paragraph, key or meta paragraph? Guys, CAM paragraph? Nobody knows. This is a little strange. Okay, no problem. So basically, when we are talking about CAM paragraph, it, yes, Rahul, tell me.
हम जब ऑडिट करते टाइम जो चीज़ें ऑडिटर को सबसे ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट, रिस्की या इम्पॉर्टेंट लगती है उनको कैम के नाम में रिपोर्ट लिखा जाता है.
राइट. सो अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है तो कैन वी हैव a CAM paragraph irrespective, or do we only need CAM paragraph when there's a problem?
जब कुछ ऐसे रिस्की या फिर इम्पॉर्टेंट हो तभी यूजुअली की ऑडिट मैटर्स होते हैं.
Okay, okay. The first part of what you said was fine. Ki, it is basically CAM key or meta paragraph is a paragraph जहाँ पे auditor tells the management, sorry, tells the shareholders of the TCWG that these are the some of the important matters that we found when we were auditing. Supposingly revenue. Revenue is a very important matter. Or if there was a big loan that the company took, so that's also a key audit matter, right? Now, irrespective of whether you are going to have a qualified opinion or an unqualified opinion, you can have a CAM paragraph. So even if there is no problem in the financial statements, there was no, the financial statements are true and fair, and you do not have any problems in the financial statements, even then, just to tell the management, just to tell the shareholders that, hey, listen, I did the evidencing, I did the procedures, etc. And during my course of action, I found these matters to be important and you should know them. All right. तो हो सकता है कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो, फिर भी कुछ ऐसे इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर्स हो सकते हैं जो ऑर्डर को कम्युनिकेट करने हो स्पेसिफिक to a particular thing that the company did in that particular financial year, so that those are communicated in the key audit matter paragraph, irrespective whether our opinion is qualified or not. All right. And this is also a compulsion for all the listed entities specifically. उनको ये वाला पैराग्राफ अपने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में डालना ही पड़ता है if the company is a listed entity. Yes, Rahul.
हम जिसके जजमेंट में मतलब जिसके जैसे गुडविल है तो उसके वैल्यूएशन के लिए एस्टिमेशंस यूज़ होते हैं, तो उसमें तो हर बार रिस्क होगा ही, तो वो की ऑडिट मैटर्स में आएगा ही हर बार, ऐसा ही होगा ना.
हाँ, राइट, यू करेक्ट. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द जजमेंट्स ऑल्सो. अब जैसे आप और मैं अलग अलग ऑडिटर हैं, ठीक है, मुझे लगता है कि दिस वॉज अ जजमेंटल एरिया एंड आई थिंक दिस इज अ की मैटर जो मेरे को शेयर होल्डर्स को बताना चाहिए. हो सकता है आपको ना लगे, तो वो चीज भी है. और जो आपने बोला गुडविल वाला, वेयर वी टेक द assumptions and where we take the assumptions for the goodwill valuation, and it is a judgmental area, so it will come into your key audit matters as a risky portion. Yeah. All right. Next is other information. Now, other information basically contains anything apart from the financial statements. Key financial statements ke alawa, if the auditor wants to communicate anything, it is not compulsory. You can have it, not have it, depends. So other information is anything apart from financial statements or anything apart from these two paragraphs. If the auditor wants to communicate anything else to the shareholders, wo other information mein aata hai. Then it states the responsibilities of the management, responsibilities of the auditors, which I just discussed ऊपर जो मैंने बताई थी कि these are the responsibilities of the auditors. So auditors की responsibilities are there. Other reporting responsibilities, name of the engagement partner. So basically, who was the auditor, the signatures, address, date, etc. So mainly, I would say that these your very very important aspect of any audit report is your opinion basis for opinion, CAM, and other information. These contain the main significant information of the report, and these are all your formatting portions. All right. So yeah, now I'll not go too deep into what they have given as an example. I'll just show you from above. So the title is there, Independent Auditor's Report. They've addressed it to the shareholders of the company. So addressee is there. Then they also have an opinion. So they are saying, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material aspects, true and fair view, right? So if there was a problem, they can also state the problem over here, right? Then we can have a basis for qualified that if I am having a positive opinion, what is the basis for the same? So that is my basis for opinion. Then I will be having a CAM paragraph, which is key or it matters in our professional judgment, but are utmost significant, chahe it is a problematic or it is not. Other information is responsible for other information. Other information comprises the chairman's statement, but does not include what I just told you right now. That probably it does not include the financial statements information, but anything else apart from that, if they want to state over here, they can write in the other information paragraph. All right. Then management's responsibility, auditor's responsibility paragraph is there. All of these are the responsibilities. And then you finally have the signatures there, addresses there, date is there, right? So this is how your audit report looks like when you're finalizing the audit. And this is important from an exam perspective because they can ask you to critically appraise the same, all right? Now, let's talk about the main area, which I think is confusing for a lot of people. So now, for example, as I just discussed, that auditor can have two types of opinions. All right. One can be modified opinion. One can be unmodified opinion. If you want, you people also can make a mind map so that you remember these. Unmodified opinion basically means when, as per you, everything is fine, everything is good. You don't have even one problem. They have reported everything really nicely, and there's no problem. That is what you mean by कि we are having an unmodified opinion. All right. सो नो प्रॉब्लम अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है तो अनमॉडिफाइड अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है चाहे छोटी ही प्रॉब्लम हो इफ इट इवन इफ इट इज लाइक अ वेरी स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम बट देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम that comes under our modified opinion that comes under modified opinion basically, right? Okay, now a quick question again. I think I've explained this previously as well. What do we understand by the word pervasiveness? Guys, what do we understand by the word pervasiveness? Vanisha, can you try?
Ma'am, it is a misstatement which may have a potential effect on the financial statement as a whole.
Pervasiveness, no, no. Can someone else try? Rahul, can you try?
मैम परवेसिवनेस ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि जिससे कम असर गलतियाँ हो, जैसे कि नॉट परवेसिव वैसा बोल सकते हैं इसका एग्जांपल कि इन्वेंट्री वैल्यूएशन गलत है लेकिन सिर्फ एक छोटी ब्रांच का, बट अगर वो परवेसिव होगा तो ऐसा होगा कि रेवेन्यू रिकॉग्निशन पॉलिसी ही गलत है और पूरा रेवेन्यू ही डाउट में है। तो मोस्टली
Correct.
अगर सब जगह को ऐसे इफेक्ट करे तो वो परवेसिव होता है और सिंगल जगह इफेक्ट होती है तो नॉट परवेसिव।
Exactly. Yes, yes. So basically, pervasiveness का मतलब होता है when it is impacting, it is a huge problem in the financial statement. मतलब आपकी because of that, supposingly एक example देती हूँ अभी जैसे राहुल ने बोला, for example अगर आपकी आप मैनेजमेंट ने they have not recognized provisions in the financial statement, तो वो तो material है अगर क्योंकि दैट इज अ वेरी स्मॉल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द होल फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट प्रोविजन से हमारा कुछ और इम्पैक्ट नहीं होता है वो तो सिर्फ एक पार्ट ऑफ योर रिपोर्टिंग है राइट सो दैट इज मटीरियल इट्स नॉट परवेसिव परवेजिव कब होगा? फॉर एग्जाम्पल रेवेन्यू है, रेवेन्यू गलत रिकॉग्नाइज करा है, सो रेवेन्यू गलत रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे तो हमारी कॉस्टिंग पे इफेक्ट आएगा, एक्सपेंसेस साइड पे इफेक्ट आएगा, हमारे प्रॉफिट्स पे भी इफेक्ट आएगा. सो नेट में देयर विल बी अ सिंगल आइटम इज इम्पैक्टिंग मल्टीपल डिफरेंट आइटम्स. दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय परवेजिवनेस, कि एक की वजह से a lot of different things are getting hampered because of that, right? That is the meaning of pervasiveness. अगर सिर्फ एक चीज इम्पैक्ट हो रही है इन द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट, देन दैट्स ओनली मटीरियल. ऑलराइट, आर वी गुड विद द मीनिंग ऑफ परवेसिवनेस? यस राहुल?
मैम परवेजिवनेस तो समझ में आ गया, बट क्वालिफाइड और अनक्वालिफाइड नहीं आया.
हाँ, अभी करेंगे.
ओके.
Okay. So now when we know the meaning of pervasiveness and materiality both, so it says सबसे पहला सिनेरियो हमारा क्या होता है? If the financial statements are materially misstated. अब supposingly मुझे पता चल गया कि प्रोविजन कंपनी को प्रोविजन कंपनी को 10,000 का रिकॉग्नाइज करना था, बट उन्होंने नहीं किया, उन्होंने 7,000 का रिकॉग्नाइज कर दिया. And I told the management also that, hey, listen, I gave a warning. So as the protocol, we have to give a warning. So I said to the management कि you had to recognize a provision of 10,000, but आपने सिर्फ 7,000 का करा है. Please recognize for 10,000 only. Management refused. Management ने कहा नहीं, हम नहीं करने वाले हैं. We don't care. कुछ भी कर लो आप. तो management auditor बोलता है, okay, no problem. I will be having a qualified opinion. क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन का मतलब है योर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स एक्सेप्ट फॉर वन सिंगल थिंग. देखो, अभी सिर्फ प्रोविजन में प्रॉब्लम थी, बाकी सब चीजें आपने रेवेन्यू देखा, आपने प्रॉफिट्स देखे, आपने एक्सपेंसेस देखे, आपने लोन्स देखे, आपने बाकी सब चीजें देखी, एवरीथिंग वाज फाइन. इट वाज जस्ट द मैटर ऑफ प्रोविजन. से वन आइटम वाज अ प्रॉब्लम. All right. So that is when that means कि you are having a qualified opinion. मतलब everything in your opinion is fine, but except for provisions. All right. So in that case, तो यहाँ पे जब हम modified की बात करते हैं, modified opinion की, यहाँ पे एक हमारा हो सकता है qualified opinion, एक होता है unqualified opinion. थोड़ा सा confusing है, I know. अनक्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन का मतलब है अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर मेकिंग नॉट मेकिंग सेंस. क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन का मतलब है पॉजिटिव समझ लो, कि क्वालिफाइड मतलब द मैनेजमेंट इज क्वालिफाइंग द क्राइटेरिया, ऐसा समझ लो. ऑलराइट, but qualified, I am giving, the auditor is giving a qualified opinion. That means auditor is saying कि everything is true and fair, everything is all right apart from the provisions, so except for the provisions. All right, so that is what is meant by if the item, क्योंकि provision हमारे material तो थे but हमारे pervasive नहीं थे, so that is the reason I will be giving a qualified opinion except for one item which was provision, which was a problem. यहीं पे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट वॉज ऑल्सो परवेजिव. सपोजिंगली रेवेन्यू वॉज अ बिग इम्पैक्ट. रेवेन्यू उनको रिकॉग्नाइज करना चाहिए था 1 लाख रुपीज का, उन्होंने रिकॉग्नाइज किया 10 लाख रुपीज का. ना इसकी वजह से हमारा रेवेन्यू इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, हमारा प्रॉफिट्स इम्पैक्ट हो रहे हैं. So the financial statements is getting affected multiple times, and and revenue is a very big aspect for the same, right? So if it is material and it is also pervasive, we will give a adverse opinion कि your financial statements are not present fairly. It is not giving a true and fair view of the financial statements. All right. So qualified and adverse opinion. Qualified का मतलब है कि qualified except for means कि full financial statements are okay except for one of the things, which is provisions. But adverse opinion होता है when there is lot of problems, your nature of the material is also pervasive. That is when you say, I am giving you an adverse opinion because everything in the financial statements is wrong. All right. So this is the difference between these two. Now, another thing can be disclaimer. of opinion. Disclaimer of opinion is on the part of the auditor. Supposingly, auditor को किसी चीज के लिए evidence चाहिए था, right? But the auditor was not able to get any sufficient appropriate evidence regarding the same. For example, provisions का था, right? Now provision may be if the auditor is not able to get the opinion, again qualified होगा, except for क्योंकि provision is not pervasive. If it is pervasive, then it will have a disclaimer that we do not have any opinion only on that particular item. Supposingly, they were not able to get the opinion for or the evidences for revenue. जब revenue के बारे में उनके पास evidence ही नहीं है, how can they have an opinion for the same? So we do not express any opinion on revenue since we were not able to get the audit evidence. All right. Are we okay with these three terminologies? Qualified opinion, adverse opinion, as well as disclaimer of opinion. Are we okay with this? Yes, Rahul.
मैम अनमॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन और एडवर्स ओपिनियन अलग अलग है ना?
Yes, there are two different type of opinions.
सॉरी बट एक बार फिर से बता सकते हैं?
हाँ, मैं आपको रुको. Wait, I'll share my screen again. I've made a notes also for you people. Just a minute. Okay. Let me know if you people are able to see the screen. Are you people able to see the screen?
यस विजिबल.
Okay. These notes I'm going to share with you also because I made them very crisp on बहुत अच्छे हैं. इससे easily you'll be able to understand. Now, first of all, let's see types of audit opinions. ठीक है? एक हमारा हो गया unqualified opinion, which I told you कि एक हमारा होता है qualified, एक unqualified. Qualified opinion का मतलब होता है everything is fine, कुछ भी problem नहीं है. There is no problem in the financial statements. All accounts look very good. So a thumbs up, no problem. कुछ भी problem नहीं है, कुछ एक चीज भी problem नहीं है. That is your unqualified opinion, also known as unmodified report. जब आपकी रिपोर्ट अनमॉडिफाइड है, कोई मॉडिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड ही नहीं है, दैट इज योर अनमॉडिफाइड अनक्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन. ऑलराइट. सेकंड इज क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन. क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन का मतलब है कि कुछ छोटा सा प्रॉब्लम है बट इट्स नॉट अ वेरी सीरियस प्रॉब्लम. सो दैट इज व्हेन यू से कि एवरीथिंग इज ऑल राइट एक्सेप्ट फॉर वन थिंग, कि प्रोविजंस के अलावा सब कुछ सही है. Whole accounts is fine except for provision. That is when you have a qualified opinion and a qualified report. All right. Then the third one can be adverse opinion. कि accounts में बहुत कुछ गड़बड़ है because your thing is also pervasive. It is material as well as pervasive. Adverse opinion का मतलब है the accounts are very very wrong and they are not true and fair at all. इसमें आपका एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ going concern का भी. Supposedly the management said that we are a going concern, but actually as per your findings you think that it is not a going concern, which is of course a very important issue and a very big issue as well. तो वहां पे you will have a pervasive opinion. Pervasive होगा वो ये this is pervasive. That is the reason you're going to have adverse opinion. And the last one, yes, Rahul.
No, nothing.
Okay. Last one is disclaimer of opinion. That auditor, as an auditor, because I did not get any evidences from the management regarding, for example, provision. So that is the reason I cannot give you any opinion at all on the provision. Okay. We couldn't check enough to give any opinion. हमको पता ही नहीं चला because I was not able to get the evidence. So these are 4 types of audit opinions that you can have. इन चारों में से depending upon the situation, you're going to write your answers. All right. Are we okay with these 4? Any problems in these 4?
So qualified, it's not qualified. They're the same thing, right?
I'm sorry.
unmodified and unqualified are the same thing. You can use either wise.
Yes, correct, correct. But whenever you're going to write opinion, the word opinion with it, it's preferred if you write unqualified opinion instead of writing unmodified. Yes, Rahul?
डिस्क्लेमर ऑफ ओपिनियन का कोई एग्जांपल मिल सकता है?
Disclaimer में again, supposingly management wants to conceal something, and for example, you were doing your review and management did not provide you the enough information, for example, of one of its clients. कोई उसने third party को अपनी services render करी हुई थी, for example, outsourcing करी हुई थी, ठीक है? And they did not give you any information regarding the third party. They just brushed it off कि हमने उनको कर रखा है. Supposing it payroll services, they have outsourced it to a third party. Okay? So they did not give you any information for that. So because you did not have any information, probably आपके scope से बाहर था. Can be a situation wherein it was out of your scope also. So due to which you were not able to get any evidences regarding that particular item in the financial statements, right? So when you जब आपके पास उसके लिए evidence ही नहीं है, because all of these opinions that you're going to have, these are basis some of the other opinions, some of the other evidences जो आपने gather करे हैं, right? So when you do not have any evidences for the same, you can't give any opinion. And when you can't give an opinion, you will have a disclaimer of opinion paragraph जहाँ पे आप बताओगे कि this information we were not able to fetch from the management. We did not had enough evidences, and that is the reason this is a disclaimer of opinion for this item. Yes.
फ्रॉम द रिस्क पर्सपेक्टिव अगर थर्ड पार्टी को कुछ आउटसोर्स करते हैं तो वो डिटेक्शन रिस्क होगी या कंट्रोल रिस्क होगी?
डिटेक्शन रिस्क होगी अगर मैनेजमेंट हमको इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं प्रोवाइड करती है उसकी तो.
मतलब प्री कंडीशन से फुलफिल नहीं कर रहे हैं.
राइट राइट.
ओके.
ठीक है. सो प्लीज अगेन मैं भेजूंगी वैसे तो, बट प्लीज राइट दीज डाउन बिकॉज many people get confused between these. Then if I go down a little bit, so pervasiveness, material का मतलब है important. Of course material अगर है तो हमारे लिए वो important है, but pervasiveness का मतलब होता है when it is affecting a lot of areas of the financial statement. Material not pervasive है कि important है, only affect small part, a small error in the inventory. ठीक है. Material and pervasive अगर दोनों चीजें हैं, it means it is affecting many areas in the financial statements. Big error in the revenue, assets, profits, जो मैंने अभी same example आपको दिया, that if it is pervasive, it is going to impact a lot of different areas in the financial statements, and it is known as pervasive. All right, are we okay till now? Are we okay with different type of opinions, material and pervasive as well?
यस मैम, गुड टू गो.
Perfect. Okay, ये भी मैंने लिखा है. If you want to refer to this as well, you can. How to decide which opinion to give? So if everything is all right, को unqualified दे दोगे. Small issue है, not widespread, मतलब material है but pervasive नहीं है, so you're going to give a qualified opinion. If it is a big issue and it's affecting many parts, you will give an adverse opinion because it is material but not pervasive. Can't get enough evidence, अगर आपको evidences नहीं मिले हैं in any case, so that is a disclaimer because it is a question mark for you. All right. ठीक है. Another thing now we have to discuss is, okay, are we okay with this? Shall I move with the next topic, which is again very important? Last topic.
यस मैम.
Everybody else? Vanisha, Kushali,
Yes, ma'am.
Ipsa, Shabazz.
No, ma'am.
All right. ठीक है. Now, when I showed you the report, so when we are doing, we have opinion paragraph, we have basis for opinion paragraph. उसके बाद हमारे पास scam paragraph आता है. If there are other things also, the auditor needs to talk about, जो हमने other information में किया, there can be certain different paragraphs which the auditor can include in the report. All right. Other paragraphs are these. These are known as स्पेशल पैराग्राफ्स जो हम ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में डालते हैं। आई एम श्योर आपने इन वाले पैराग्राफ्स के बारे में सुना होगा। EOMP paragraph is emphasis of matter paragraph. Other matter paragraph, which is OMP. MURGC paragraph, material uncertainty relating to going concern, and CAP paragraph. Okay. मैंने बहुत क्रिस्प और बहुत टू द पॉइंट इसको लिखा है सो दैट यू जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग ऑफ दीज पैराग्राफ्स. ऑलराइट. Okay. So when we're talking about the first one, which is emphasis of matter paragraph. So when do we use this kind of a paragraph is to highlight something important, but the opinion is still clean. मतलब कि everything is fine, but you want to highlight something which is important. So the financial statements are fine, but look at point number 4, it is important. So you want to place an emphasis on certain important, uh, a certain important point or certain important statement, for example. So that is EOMP paragraph, wherein आपका opinion is fine, opinion में कोई problem नहीं है, but you are having an emphasis on matter paragraph क्योंकि आपको अपने shareholders या फिर TCWG को बताना है that this is something which is important and you should have a look at it. But आपका opinion is absolutely fine. All right. So this is your EOMP paragraph. Then comes our other matter paragraph, which is our OMP paragraph. It talks about something जो जैसे हमने other information paragraph किया when we were doing reporting, वो ही same चीज है when we are talking about that, which is apart from financials, कि हमारी current financial statements के अलावा we are having something else also with the same. All right. तो उसके बारे में अगर हमको मैनेजमेंट को बताना शेयर होल्डर्स को बताना है, दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय other matter paragraph that we also audited last year financial statements, yeah, or if you want to talk about something non-financial, that is also included over here. Okay, supposing there was some problem with CEO and the chairman, that they were same people or something. Again, anything apart from financials, current financials, that is what is meant by other matter paragraph. All right. So third one is MURGC paragraph. When again, right now we just discussed about the going concern issues as well, right? So that is when you have problems in your material, in your going concern, that is when you have MURGC paragraph, that there is severe uncertainty relating to going concern issues. All right. So that is what is meant by MURGC paragraph. The company might not continue to be a going concern. So that is what is meant by your MURGC paragraph. And the fourth one is again CAM paragraph, which we did cure matters, which is especially important for all the listed entities, right? So that is what is done over here. A quick difference. I know you would think what is the difference between EOMP paragraph and CAM paragraph. CAM paragraph हमारा होता है to focus upon the audit areas, key audit areas. जैसे हमने discuss किया, revenue is important or profits is important or something which is major for the financial statements, and you want to place an emphasis on that. आपको बताना है management को that we focused upon this check really nicely, this control really nicely. EOMP paragraph is more related to when you're talking about the disclosures, in the sense कि आपने कुछ disclosure किया या management कुछ disclosure किया and you just want to highlight it. It's not a very major problem, but आपको जब उसको highlight करना है, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory even for the listed entities. It is mandatory for the listed entities. एक और चीज very important, it highlights something which is already disclosed by the management. Supposingly, management ने बोला कि for this current year, we had a provision of 10,000 rupees. And supposing I'm giving you a very vague example, just hear me out, okay? So, supposing the management said that we know that provision 10,000 का बनाना था, but we have made it for 10,000 rupees, for 7,000 rupees, for example. So this thing is already disclosed in the financial statements. Or one more example we can take is for non-adjusting events. So you people know for non-adjusting events we have to have a disclosure. So for example, management ने correctly सब कुछ disclose किया है, And even after that, auditor will have a UMP paragraph which will highlight already disclosed items. This is already disclosed items. So जो already disclosed करा हुआ है, auditor will just highlight those. But in key audit matters, probably there's something which already has not been talked about before, and the auditor wants to talk about it in the CAM paragraph. All right. So UMP paragraph is when we as an auditor, I want to highlight something जो already disclosed है. CAM paragraph is for the listed entities, compulsory for the listed entities, and it will highlight important areas that they focused upon during the audit. Are we okay with these four paragraph, guys?
EOM, it's for both listed and unlisted.
Yes, it's non-mandatory. You want to have it, you can have it. You don't want to have it, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
मैम अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ कोई एग्जांपल बता
अभी जैसे मैंने बताया कुछ भी नॉन फाइनेंशियल इफ यू वांट टू डिस्कस कि आपको कुछ भी डिस्कस करना है सपोजिंगली कुछ क्वालिटी इशू था कि सीईओ आपको जैसा पता है सीईओ एंड चेयरपर्सन कैन नॉट बी द सेम मैन इन द कंपनी सो अगर ये है तो वो आप अदर मैटर में डिस्कस कर सकते हो या अगर आपने पिछले साल की भी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स देखी जैसे मैंने इसमें एग्जांपल लिखा है कि आपने पिछले साल की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स देखी जो कि इस साल से रिलेटेड नहीं था बट आपको जैसे एक इन्फॉर्मेशन देनी थी कि मैंने ये कर लिया है बट दिस इज समथिंग अपार्ट फ्रॉम द करंट ईयर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट सो दिस इज अगेन अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ व्हिच यू कैन इंक्लूड
जैसे कि ये भी हो सकता है कंपनी की कैश फ्लो चेक कर लिया और प्रोजेक्शन रिपोर्ट
ये तो आपका पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोसीजर ही होता है ना जब आप कैश फ्लोज चेक करते हो
ओके
हम्म,
मतलब ये अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ की है
क्या
मतलब ये दोनों अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ में नहीं है
नहीं ये वाला तो नहीं दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ योर प्रोसीडिंग ओनली नो जैसा सपोजिंगली अगर आपने कुछ लीगल कंप्लायंस था रिगार्डिंग द कंपनी आपने वो भी रिपोर्ट करा एंड यू वर एबल टू फाइंड सम ऑफ द information in regards to the rules and regulations also so that's really not part of your reporting फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग के अलावा कुछ आपने करा तो वो आप अपने अदर मैटर पैराग्राफ में डाल सकते हो
ओके
ओके एनीथिंग एल्स गाइस are we okay with these four these are very important okay I'll take that as a no so for this we are done I'll share these notes with you so on WhatsApp group let's now also quickly do a question um just a minute yeah I've opened up a question for you people are you able to see my screen guys
यस मैम
all right
Yes, ma'am.
so this is one of the questions from your kit and we are going to do the last paragraph. This one. This is your audit report related question. All right. So let's read it once and then we can proceed. All right. During the audit of C company's restructuring provision, the audit team discovered that 2,700,000 of cost included did not meet the criteria for inclusion as per IAS 37. The finance director has suggested that no amendment is made in 2005 financial statements as the provision is a matter of judgment and the provision has been deemed reasonable by the board. Discuss the issue and describe the impact on auditor's report. So now they're saying that whatever the restructuring provision they're having, they are not including the basically whatever they did over here. एक बार case study पढ़नी पड़ेगी, I think. Let's read it. Okay, let's read this. Conopus company recently announced plans to fundamentally restructure its production processes due to a change in the focus of company's operations. All right. It has included a $2.1 million restructuring provision in the draft financial statement. So you people know that whenever we have a restructuring going on, we need to recognize a provision for the same, right? So uske liye they have already recognized a provision of $2.1 million in the financial statements. The restructure involves a refurbishment of factories, purchase of new plant, equipment, and retraining of existing staff. These plans were finally agreed at board meeting in March 2005 and announced to shareholders and employees just before the year end. All right. And then they are saying during the audit team discovered that 2270 of cost included did not meet the criteria. Probably जो उन्होंने 2.1 का recognize किया है provision उसमें से ये वाला amount minus होना चाहिए था क्योंकि this does not meet the criteria of IS 37 due to which our provisions are overstated, right? But management बोल रहा है no we are okay with this, it is professional judgment, हम इसको amend नहीं करने वाले हैं, हम 2.1 million ही recognize करेंगे अपनी financial statements में. So as per you, what would be the opinion, what would be the impact, क्या होगा?
क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन,
क्यों?
सिर्फ एक ही चीज अफेक्ट होगी, प्रोविजन.
Correct. Qualified होगा. Okay, so do you think it is material?
हाँ, मटेरियल तो होगा.
Correct. So this is material but not pervasive, right? And due to which your opinion would be to write that this is a qualified opinion except for, so आपका opinion होगा except for, right? So let me also, एक second, wait. I'll also share with you how do you actually frame your answer. All right. Okay. So whenever we are writing audit report question, the first thing that you do is discuss the issue. Sometimes, we as students, हम sometimes सीधा शुरू कर देते हैं. The auditor will have a qualified opinion except for. ठीक है? That is not the case scenario. अगर आप question को ढंग से यहाँ पे भी read करोगे, I'll show you the question again. If you read, it does not only always say आपको ये नहीं बोल रहा है कि describe the impact. It also says discuss the issue. तो आपको discuss भी करना है. How are you going to discuss is you're going to यहाँ पे जैसे ये वाला केस में we can write that यहाँ से statement उठा सकते हैं that the company is doing a restructure of the production processes and they have included a $2.1 million restructuring provision in the draft financial statements. यहाँ तक ठीक है, ये हमने include करा first line. Then we'll talk about this line. ये हम बताएंगे कि management ने करा क्या है, problem क्या है. So this is the problem, right? So what did they actually do? एक second, यहाँ पे हटाती हूँ. So what did they do? What is the problem? And then you will discuss these. कि उन्होंने क्या करा है, ये प्रॉब्लम है तो यहीं से आप लाइन उठा लोगे, ये चीज यहां से उठा लोगे. एंड दीज आर नॉट एज पर IS 37. डिस्कस में आप क्या बात करोगे अबाउट IS 37 that as per IS 37 only if the provision should only include something which is probable to happen in the future. So again the criteria जो हमारे basic criteria of IS 37 है, you can discuss those. All right. Then you will say that management is not doing it correctly because technically they should remove this amount from their provision amount. And if they're not doing so, ये सब discussion का part है. So you talk about IS 37, the criteria as per that. Then you tell what is the problem. क्या आप risk बताओगे that how is it going to impact your financial statements. इस केस में हमारे provisions क्या होंगे?
Overstated.
Right, overstated होंगे. Why they will be overstated? Because technically हमको $2.1 million minus ये वाला अमाउंट करना चाहिए था. So technically हमारा जो अमाउंट था वो प्रोविजन इतने का होना चाहिए था, बट हमने इतने का अमाउंट करा है. So that is the reason it will be overstated. So this is the discussion that you're going to do. Not very lengthy. अभी आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये बहुत lengthy है, but it won't be very very lengthy. And then you're going to also talk about second thing that you're going to talk about is sorry B लिख देती हूँ इसको. You're going to talk about the materiality. Very very important. This constitutes for 1 mark when you're writing about the reporting. क्योंकि आपका ओपिनियन सी इफ यू आर सेइंग कि हमारा आपने जैसे राहुल ने बोला कि मटेरियल होगा बट परवेजन नहीं होगा. You also need to justify how is it material. राइट? तो उसके लिए आपको मटीरियलिटी भी कैलकुलेट करनी पड़ेगी. नाउ हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट द मटीरियलिटी? यू विल गो अबव not profit raising funds disadvantages. Show a revenue of 0.8 million. Show the financial statements total equity and liabilities of 11.6 million. So इससे आप materiality calculate कर सकते हो.
We
This
can
is
start from
revenue.
0.8.
Yes, absolutely. So on the base of revenue, you can calculate that this amount is material to your financial statements. I'm not calculating it right now. I'm just telling you. कि on the basis of 0.8 million, can somebody calculate it for me? कितना percentage आ रहा है?
33.75%.
So this is highly material. 33 is a very big amount, right? So ye calculation, if you ask me, you have to show the calculation. Yes, you have to show the calculation. Show the calculation and tell them that this is a material figure. And if it is a material figure, फिर आपकी third चीज होगी कि since it is material, since it is, sorry for my writing, since it is material but not pervasive, therefore auditor will have qualified, क्योंकि pervasive नहीं है, except for opinion. Very important. ठीक है? Okay. Yes, Ipsa. Ipsa, is there any doubt? Okay, no problem. So till now we have done most of it. Can somebody tell me last में क्या missing है जो मैंने अभी तक mention नहीं किया? There's one more thing that you have to mention to get 1 mark. Guys, you would have practiced some questions, you would know.
सब तो
Yes,
मेंशन हो
Rahul.
गया. सब मेंशन हो गया ना शायद.
नहीं, एक चीज बची है जो 90% of the students always forget, losing out 1 mark. एक चीज रह गए.
आप ही बता दो.
Guess करो, बाकी बताओ. You people would have practiced some questions, देखे होंगे questions by now. Nobody knows कि एक चीज क्या रह गई है. Yes, Kushali?
Financial year end.
No. Okay,
Level of risk.
No. Which I will show you. You people will tell me. ठीक है. I told you when we were discussing the elements.
Key audit matters.
No. Listed entity नहीं है ना हमारी. I think. I'm assuming. Whenever we have an opinion, we always need to also talk about the basis for opinion. तो अगर आपने बोला कि आपका मटेरियल है बट परवेजिव नहीं है, आपने ये ओपिनियन दिया, यू गेव अ क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन, राइट? So you also need to write the basis for that opinion, justification for that opinion, right? So when you are writing your answer, you have to write the auditor, sorry, the auditor will have a basis for qualified opinion followed. आपको लिखना नहीं है justification. You don't have to write the justification. I'll also tell you why. Followed by opinion paragraph. Simple. And mind you, 90% of the students miss on writing this and lose out 1 mark. ये 1 नंबर का है. 5 में से 1 नंबर इसके है. and 90% of the students do not write this. And why do you need to just write this? Because if you read the question over here, यहाँ पे वो बोल रहा है इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा ऑडिट रिपोर्ट पे। तो हमने बता दिया कि हमारा रिपोर्ट जो होगी क्वालिफाइड एक्सेप्ट फॉर होगी क्योंकि मटेरियल है, परवेजिव नहीं है, एंड विल ऑल्सो बी राइटिंग अ बेसिस फॉर क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन पैराग्राफ। ऑलराइट, तो ये चीजें आपके आंसर में होनी चाहिए। इफ एनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, इसमें से कुछ भी, मैंने कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा नहीं बताया आपको, टू द पॉइंट बताया है। If there's anything missing out of these four things that you have to write in the last question, you will lose out marks accordingly.
मैम फोर्थ पॉइंट दोबारा बताना एक बार।
फोर्थ पॉइंट आपका कहता है, सो आई थिंक शहबाज आपने थोड़ा लेट ज्वाइन किया था, इससे थोड़ा यू कैन वाच द रिकॉर्डिंग। सो बेसिकली आई टोल्ड देम दैट देयर आर द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ऑडिट रिपोर्ट। आपकी ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में ये सब चीजें होती हैं। सो दीज आर ऑल व्हाट इट लुक्स लाइक। सबसे पहले आपका टाइटल होता है, अड्रेसी जिसको आप दे रहे हो ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, बेसिकली आपके शेयर होल्डर्स या फिर टीसीडब्ल्यूजी। देन आपका ओपिनियन होता है कि क्वालिफाइड होगा, अनक्वालिफाइड होगा, एडवर्स होगा, एक्सेट्रा। देन उसके लिए अगर आप बोलते हो, इफ यू एज एन ऑडिटर यू से दैट आई एम हैविंग अ क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन, यू ऑल्सो नीड टू जस्टिफाई कि आप क्यों क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन दे रहे हो, व्हाट इज द बेसिस फॉर दैट ओपिनियन। तो अगर आपका, अगेन एक और चीज आई विल टेल यू पीपल, अगर आपका ओपिनियन क्वालिफाइड है तो आप यहाँ पे लिखोगे बेसिस फॉर क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन। अगर आपका ओपिनियन unqualified hai, you will write basis for unqualified opinion. So the name of this paragraph will change accordingly. If you're having auditor's opinion as adverse opinion, so your this paragraph name will be basis for adverse opinion. All right. तो जो भी आपका ओपिनियन होगा, you will also be having a basis for that opinion paragraph, जहां पे you as an auditor are going to give the justification for the same. All right. Are we okay with this? Very, very important. इसको समझना is very important.
I'm sorry for the connectivity.
No
What would
problem.
be so that materiality part? We have the materiality percentages for revenue and this total assets. So do
Mm-hmm.
we need to consider those percentages here?
Yes, you need to. Yes. So you need to calculate. I think these guys calculated and they told me that there is a materiality of 33.75%. So you have to calculate this to show into your answer.
Okay, so as this is more than 0.5% of the revenue, so it's material. We can
Yes,
write that.
yes. 33% is a whole lot, no? So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any doubts? Any question, guys? इसके बाद just एक last चीज question perspective से बताऊंगी and then we are good. Any doubts? कुछ किसी भी portion में you people have any doubts? I know some people, I think Shehbaz joined late. Shehbaz, you can watch the recording and let me know if everything is all right. Ipsa, you were facing connectivity issue. So if you missed out anything, you can let me know post you watch the recording.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
All right. ठीक है. One more thing, last thing before we wrap up, I want to show you people एक difference of question asking. ठीक है? पहले आप मुझे बताओगे, अगर आपको नहीं आता होगा then I'll tell you. All right? You people have read this question. इसमें वो बोल रहा है कि आपको इशू डिस्कस करना है और आपको इम्पैक्ट भी बताना है रिपोर्ट के ऊपर जो ऑडिट का रिपोर्ट होता है. ओके, नाउ लेट मी ऑल्सो शो यू अनदर क्वेश्चन. ओके, ये क्वेश्चन है, इफ आई रीड इट, explain whether the 2005 financial statements of H company require amendment in relation to the flood. Describe audit procedures. Okay, this is another thing. Do you people see a difference between this question and जो audit report का question था? Do you people, आपको लगता है कि ये दोनों question same है या आपको लगता है कि नहीं different है और different तरीके से answer होने चाहिए?
No, I think it's same because
It's same.
amendment is there. So is it it is asking that whether we need modification or not. I think.
Okay. Anybody else?
I
ये तो
think it's different.
Okay,
और
Shabazz says it's different. How is it different?
वो उधर ओपिनियन मांग रहे हैं हमसे, और इधर तो
ठीक है,
हमसे ये पूछ रहे हैं कि हमें अमेंडमेंट की जरूरत है कि नहीं।
ठीक है। तो अगर आपके पास ये क्वेश्चन आता है अमेंडमेंट वाला, आप क्या लिखोगे? मतलब ऑफ कोर्स हमने क्वेश्चन नहीं पढ़ा है, बट आप क्या लिखोगे इसमें अगर अमेंडमेंट कब के बारे में पूछ रहा है?
दोबारा बोल रहे हैं, समझा नहीं मैं।
मैं पूछ रही हूँ, अगर क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछता है कि अमेंडमेंट चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है, जैसे ये क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, तो आप क्या लिखोगे? यस राहुल।
मैम इसका ईयर एंड क्या है?
ईयर एंड 30th अप्रैल।
नॉन एडजस्टिंग इवेंट होगा एज पर आई एस 10।
हम्म, हाँ, मतलब अभी हम आंसर डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे हैं। सो यस, आई थिंक इप्सा यू टोल्ड रॉन्ग। नहीं, दोनों अलग रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं। इन द फर्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट, जहां पे जो मैंने अभी पूरा आपको बताया रिगार्डिंग योर ओपिनियन, रिगार्डिंग योर रिपोर्टिंग, रिगार्डिंग मटीरियल नॉट परवेजिव एक्सेट्रा, दैट इज स्पेसिफिक व्हेन इट इज आस्किंग यू कि रिपोर्ट में क्या चेंजेस होंगे या हाउ विल रिपोर्ट गेट अफेक्टेड। यहाँ पे वो आपसे रिपोर्ट के बारे में पूछ ही नहीं रहा है, वहां यहाँ पे वो सिर्फ आपसे पूछ रहा है कि हमें अमेंडमेंट चाहिए। अमेंडमेंट का मतलब है चेंजेस, चेंजेस का मतलब है एडजस्टमेंट। Do we require an adjustment or no? So what Rahul said, जो भी मैंने IS10 लिखा है, you are going to talk about IS10 adjusting event, which I revised you with you people also. तो आप यहाँ पे ये बताओगे कि हमें adjusting event होगा या non adjusting event होगा, और क्यों होगा। एंड देन यू विल टेल कि अगर सपोजिंगली adjusting है तो अमेंडमेंट हमको करनी पड़ेगी, अगर नॉन एडजस्टिंग है तो हमको नहीं करनी पड़ेगी अमेंडमेंट। ऑलराइट, यहाँ पे यू पीपल आर नॉट गोइंग टू रेफर टू ऑडिट रिपोर्ट एट ऑल, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन वो पूछ ही नहीं रहा है। यहाँ पे रिपोर्टिंग की बात में कर ही नहीं रहा है, वो ओपिनियन के बारे में जानना ही नहीं चाहते आपसे, वो सिर्फ पूछ रहा है क्या हमें अमेंडमेंट चाहिए, हमें एडजस्टमेंट अगर फाइनेंशियल। तो यू पीपल नो, बिफोर द रिपोर्टिंग हम एक वार्निंग देते हैं मैनेजमेंट को। आप ये वार्निंग समझ लो कि ऑर्डर को, कि मैनेजमेंट को क्या एडजस्टमेंट करनी पड़ेगी या नहीं करनी पड़ेगी। रिपोर्टिंग उसका नेक्स्ट स्टेप है। सपोजिंगली यहाँ पे हमको करनी पड़ती, हम बोलते हैं यस यू नीड एडजस्टमेंट अमेंडमेंट, एंड देन मैनेजमेंट रिफ्यूजेस कि नहीं हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, देन ऑडिटर विल बी हैविंग अ क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन। वो नेक्स्ट स्टेप है। बट यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन सिर्फ हमसे पूछ रहा है कि डू वी रिक्वायर चेंजेस, डू वी रिक्वायर एडजस्टमेंट, डू वी रिक्वायर अमेंडमेंट। तो आप सिर्फ उसी से रेफर करोगे कि हाँ आपको अमेंडमेंट चाहिए, आपको नहीं चाहिए, एज पर IS10। Are we okay with these two requirements? Very important guys, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है इन सम ऑफ द स्क्रिप्ट्स, मैंने एक टेस्ट में, नॉट टू गिव यू, मतलब अब तो चेंज हो गया, बट पिछले टेस्ट में वन क्वेश्चन वाज रिगार्डिंग द ओपिनियन एंड वन क्वेश्चन वाज रिगार्डिंग द अमेंडमेंट, एंड पीपल एक्चुअली wrote the same answer, losing out marks. So that is the reason I wanted to cover this as well. Are we okay with this?
यस मैम।
All right, बाकी बताओ। शहबाज, are we okay?
यस मैम।
All right. Any doubts? Any
Ma'am,
question, guys? Yes.
this can be examined, right?
Yes, yes, yes. It can be examined.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. ठीक है, perfect. Let me stop the recording.